Okay, so in class we talked about the distance and midpoint formulas. We said that the distance formula was just like Pythagorean theorem. So d is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So the change in the x's and the change in the y's. The midpoint formula um, is just a summary of halfway between the 2 points. So we add up the x coordinates and divide by 2, and then we add up the y coordinates and divide by 2. So for this, why don't we take an example and look at 2 points. We can look at the points negative 10 comma 2 and negative 7 comma 6. So let's find the distance and the midpoint between these 2 points. So the advice that I gave in class was if you're struggling with seeing all these variables and subscripts and that stresses you out, write down below these points or above what they are. So here this is my first point, so instead of it being xy, it's x1, y1. Here instead of this being xy, this is my second point, so it's x2, y2. And now I can see that I have x1 is negative 10, x2 is negative 7. So what I'm going to do is plug that into the distance formula. So the distance formula says that we're going to have the square root of x2, which is negative 7, minus x1, so it's going to be a minus 10, squared, plus y2, which is 6, minus y1, which is 2, squared. The first step I want to do is just write this in, replace my variables with numbers, and then I'll worry about simplifying. Don't try to do too many steps in one step. So here this is negative 7 plus 10, because a minus minus is a plus. So we're going to have negative 7 plus 10, which is 3. So that's 3 squared, plus 6 minus 2 is 4 squared. So the distance is going to be the square root of 9 plus 16, which is 25. So the distance is equal to 5. All right, so that's the distance. And now we can look at the midpoint, which is going to be the sum of the x values. So in this case, it's going to be negative 10 plus negative 7 over 2. And the sum of the y values, which in this case is going to be 2 plus 6 over 2. So when I add these up and simplify, here negative 10 plus negative 7 is negative 17 over 2, and 2 plus 6 is 8 over 2, which is 4. Don't feel that you need to reduce this to negative 8.5. This is perfectly fine, and that's actually how we want to leave our answer as negative 17 halves, comma 4. So if I have this point, which is negative 10, 2, comma, and negative 7, 6, halfway between those 2 points is negative 17 halves, comma 4, and the distance between those 2 points is 5.